Well, good morning everybody, and welcome to a Sunday morning show. Didn't manage to, crikey, there's loads of apples out here. I didn't even know we had an apple tree around here. Anyway, out on the golf course this morning. Today is a special day because it's my birthday, so I'm filming this Sunday morning show on the 16th of October, which in my mind is always the best day of the year. I'm out here filming it because kids are at school, Laura's at work, so the show must go on. Got some exciting news which I'm going to share with you as we kind of go through the Sunday morning show, but I'm out here to get a little bit of practice in. It's always nice to get out on the golf course and put what you've been thinking about or what you've been working on to actually, well, put it into practice, put it out onto the course and see how it sort of holds up against the elements of a golf course. It's not just about the range, is it? It's about getting out on the course and seeing what you can actually achieve out here. So let's get together, get that kettle on, and let's have a little coffee and a bit of a chit chat, shall we? Now, the first thing we got to talk about is my jury service. Now, I've had 2 weeks of, I'm going to call it on-call jury service. I actually think jury service is a great thing I think everybody should do it. When you actually go into the actual courtroom and you start hearing a case and things like that, you kind of come to realise how I feel like unprepared or uneducated that you kind of are when it comes to the law, and then you've got to make a decision, I suppose, from the evidence that's provided as to what's going to happen to that individual or individuals. So I think it's something that everybody should do. Now, this is my second time of being called up, which I disagree with. I think there's so many people out there that don't have the opportunity to do jury service, and I think everyone should at least do it maybe once. On this particular time, get called in on the Monday, and I was supposed to be chosen for a case, but that case got put on hold. So I was sort of sent home and said, right, keep you on call. We'll contact you when we want you to come back in, but we definitely want you in on the Thursday. I then got an email on the Tuesday to say, thank you very much. Now this case is going to be either pushed back or something's going to happen with it. No longer required until the following Monday. So you're kind of on edge the whole week because you don't know where you kind of stand, you know? Anyway, so go back in on the Monday. Sat in there for probably 4 or 5 hours, got to meet some great people, which was lovely. A couple of people that actually watched the channel, which is great. I think the gentleman was Dave. I think he is a member of Weymouth, so hello Dave, I know he watches the Sunday morning show. We were going to go on to a case, but that case then, that individual or individuals, we're not 100% sure exactly what the case was all about, but those people or person pleaded guilty. So therefore that case got kind of thrown out, and it was a done case, so we weren't really required. We were then put on call again and said that we would be contacted to get an understanding of whether we would be needed back in at some point, and then we got an email to say you can stand down, thank you very much for your service, and that was the end of my jury service. So that allowed me to be able to come back out here and get the Sunday morning show done. Objective today, not get any of this blue dye on this white top. And talking of blue dye, what is the blue dye? Well, the guys are out here this morning cutting fairways, cutting tees, but also spraying the greens. And it's a bit of a mixture of like iron and a few other little bits in there that are way beyond my pay grade to know exactly what they are. But what they're doing is they're trying to harden up the grass. Obviously we're going into the winter months here, they're just trying to harden the grass up a little bit, almost make them a little bit more immune to sort of disease, I suppose. Getting a lot of growth out here at the moment, which is kind of, I suppose, not expected this time of year. It feels more like spring. You're getting a lot of growth, which is actually great because we've had such a dry winter over in the UK. The golf course was very brown, as you've just seen from some of my other videos that we did. And pretty quickly it went green, but that grass growth, which we've got right now, is allowing us to get like a bit more of a fuller grass around the golf course, which allows the golf course to look really good and fill in those patches that, let's say, would have been burnt out from the summertime. So it's a bit like having a flu jab, almost, is probably the easiest way I can explain it. You have a jab to kind of make yourself immune to, you know, picking up diseases or picking up the flu. And that's what they're kind of doing out here today, is they're just trying to manage the greens as best they can. What's interesting as well, after chatting with the boys, is that because of the dry summer that we had here, Churston had a lot of big events here, especially one called the Torbay Cup, which is where all the local clubs come together and play like a scratch event, big event. They wanted to keep the golf course as best they possibly could, so they had to water a lot of the greens, but they've kind of over time maybe just slightly overwatered them, which has created this little bit of a thatch level, which is slightly thicker than where they would kind of want it. However, they've had an agronomist in to say that even though the thatch level is a little bit high at the top, which is basically like a build-up of old debris and kind of where it, well, you'd have to look it up, but it basically is a layer of thatch that sits on the top of the greens, which when you get those sort of deep plug marks, that you know that you've got kind of quite thatchy greens. So they want to try and avoid or get rid of some of that, not too much, but some of it. So what they do is they put this wetting agent on as well, which allows it to kind of penetrate a little bit deeper and get the water down, so it doesn't just sit in that thatch, spongy thatch level. I tell you what, we talk about all the tech, don't we, that goes into golf equipment, but actually the technological advances that have gone out onto the golf courses, I've always said it, these guys are not grass cutters, they're scientists really. How they can work with all this continuously living, breathing golf course, I think it's fascinating. I find it fascinating anyway, and I hope you do as well, because I try to document as much as I can when it comes to greenkeeping. But yeah, so that's the reason why we've got this kind of layer, should we say, that they've popped on top, and you can see that little bit of blue on the golf ball. Got to keep it off this sweater, got to.
There is a life I lead in this city.
What positive of that?
Hurrying to cut my teeth. I can take what I need to get by. It doesn't make it.
Isn't it amazing as you get older? I think it's when you hit your 40s. I've just turned 44, so I'm now 44 years old. I know I don't look it. Bernie's 45. Nobody thinks he's 45. Everyone still thinks he's in his 20s. Anyway, but you hit 40, and this is where I think, after talking to a lot of people, your body starts to really sort of change and deteriorate. It feels like just like overnight everything starts to ache a little bit more, and I'm sure there's lots of you watching this who are a little bit older than 40 that would probably say it gets worse, Dan. However, my shoulder, I've talked a lot about my back, haven't I? But my shoulder, left shoulder, which I actually think is because of the way I hold the camera. So I'm always holding it with like in a selfie mode to hold the camera right out in front of me. And I think that's possibly maybe just done a little bit of damage to some of the ligaments or ligament on the top of my shoulder here. I'm having some physio, I'm having some work done to it, trying to get to the bottom of it, been to the doctors. But you'll notice that my golf swing, as a result of this, is getting shorter and shorter. Now, it has got shorter on its own naturally, because I'm a little bit more restricted, should we say, on the backswing. But I was in the net the other day. Went out and played with a friend of mine for 18 holes at Dainton, and I was in the net the other morning and I was hitting some balls, and I just thought, do you know what, I'm going to do a John Ram here. Something that Ben Emerson told me a little while ago was try and shorten your backswing and then really accelerate through. Wow, strike came back unbelievably. Not that I don't strike it, I always strike it okay. I wouldn't say I get the most out of it every time. It's always a little bit slappy. So had to go with that, shortened it right up, accelerated through, waff, off it went. Almost like, felt like I even gained a little bit more power. Feel like I'm probably wasting a lot of energy getting the club to the top and beyond my kind of shoulder line at the top there. So if you're seeing my golf swing just a little bit shorter, that's the reason why I'm trying to do it. But honestly, combination of this driver setup that I've got now as well, I'm way down here on the 12th, which is, well, it just makes it a lot easier for stroke index 2, you know. Just so you all know, PLD putter, the DS72 in all black, but I've extended it and I've got my little wind grip on there because I wanted to get it a little bit like Hovland's putter. I actually ordered the Hovey, the coppery one that I've done a video on. Didn't really take to that, only because it had just a single line on top here. I've gone for the sort of back line here. But I feel like I'm on a bit of an adventure with Ping now, as in Ping putters, because you got to think, Ping putters are probably the most copied putters out on the market. Every single maybe Odyssey you see, or not every single one, but a few of the Odysseys that you see, a few of the Scotty Camerons that you see, all advanced from what Ping produced all those years ago. And ultimately Ping started out really as a putter brand, but I think Ping have probably slipped to like number 4 when it comes to putters now. Odyssey, you know, you've got Titleist, well, there's loads out there, isn't there, that are kind of shaking the market up and doing more than Ping do. And I think from a Ping point of view, to be fair to Ping, I just think it's not the putter. The putters are fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It's their marketing. They're just being they're being killed when it comes to marketing compared to these other brands out there and getting players on tour to use them. If you're a Ping ambassador, you've got to use their Ping putters. So if you see players on tour, you'll see them, they have to use a Ping putter. So I want to start playing around with some Ping putters and seeing if I can find one out there that really works for me. But all in all, I really do like the feel of the kind of counterbalanced 36 inches, what I've got this one at. Put this longer grip on it, and let's see if we can roll in a few putts with it, eh? That's another birdie. I think I'm a couple under now. As it's an exciting day, I've got some exciting news for you. And as I'm getting maybe a little bit older, I better take a seat for this one, because I am excited to bring to you something that's been in my brain for some time now. I'm excited to bring to you a new website, which is called Locker Room Golf. I'll get onto why it's called Locker Room Golf in just a moment, but as you can see from the kind of overlay that we're putting on now, Locker Room Golf is going to be the kind of media brand, should we say, behind Dan Hendriksen Golf. So on the website, we're going to have written reviews on product reviews, destinations that I've been to. We're going to have the podcast, which will be coming soon on that one. I'm going to revamp the Behind Golf with Dan Hendriksen podcast and put that onto there. We're going to have a weekly newsletter, which I'm really keen and have been keen to do for some time, which the first one's already gone out. For those that are subscribed to the old Dan Hendriksen Golf shop, the The merch shop is going to be on there. We've got obviously the new logo, which we'll talk about in just a moment. And I'm also going to bring the Dan Hendriksen Golf Society into Locker Room Golf. Now, why Locker Room Golf, and what's the idea of it? Well, Locker Room Golf, in my mind, the locker room is and should be the kind of first port of call and the last port of call before you play golf or before you go into the actual clubhouse itself to have a drink following on from your round of golf. But the locker rooms for me is a kind of a bit of a debrief area. It's a place where you kind of go and kind of somewhat mingle to a point. I know the locker rooms over in America are amazing. They've even got their own bars in some of the locker rooms there. But the locker room for me is just a place where you've got a little bit of privacy. You can talk kind of openly and freely within your group or the members at the club, or your visitor, you've other visitors to the club. It's just a great place to be able to just talk privately before you, let's say, head out onto the golf course or head into the bar. So that's where kind of the locker room side of things has kind of come from. The logo itself, we've kind of had a little play on the words, but we've also had a little play with the locker room door, and you can kind of see it there with the hinges on the door. And then there's a little nod to golf with the little T on the top of the L. I'm really excited with where we can kind of take this to, but I've kind of wanted to move the brand away from my name and move it more into locker room. But the idea is this is really about you guys as well. This is the community that I've been wanting to try and grow and build for a long, long time. And I know a number of you are huge supporters of the community and have come along on a lot of my trips and bus tour trips with me and Bernie, or coaching trips that I've done. And I want this to be a place where you kind of feel like it's your hub as well. So there's lots of places that I go to, destinations that I go to that I don't necessarily always get to film. This is a great way for me to be able to go to events and destinations and sort of do a written review and show you some photographs of my experience. But it doesn't stop there, because the experiences that I want to be able to showcase on this website are your experiences as well. This is a great opportunity for you guys to get involved with Locker Room Golf. And actually, if you go to a venue, a destination, I want your feedback on it. I want your response on it. Maybe just a little written something that we can put together and put it onto the Locker Room Golf. So it's not just a review from me personally or somebody on the team. It's from the real person, the real golfer as well, that's been to a location, or it might be your home golf club that you want to do something written about, which showcases it to the other wider audience that we've got on the channel. Now, from your side of point of view, all you need to do is go onto the actual website and fill in your, put your email address on there, and then every week we'll be putting together a newsletter that will come out, which will just be an overview of exactly what's gone on either on the channel or reviews that have gone on to the actual website as well, or updates on anything that's going on in the world of golf. So head down onto the website itself, fill in that little box down the bottom, just pop your email in there, and then you'll be subscribed to the actual website, and we can start building this community bigger and bigger. It's exciting. I know the society will be part of it, but this is going to be really, really exciting moving forward. Oh, suck a pin, DH. Suck a pin. Hold on to the green. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this Sunday morning show. Thank you so much to everybody. As we've been kind of going round the course today, I've been getting so many messages of happy birthday, so thank you very much. Yeah, exciting times ahead, isn't it? I mean, you've got to freshen things up, haven't you, as things move on. And I feel like going into 2026, I needed a new kind of plan as such, not just with the channel, but for my media place and for you guys as well. And hopefully this website will grow from strength to strength, and brands will get involved in it, and opportunities and video trips and things like that will be built off the back of it. And yeah, I'm excited. So please go and have a little look at the website. Please sign up to it. Let's start getting this community moving. Please start writing some reviews for yourselves of things that you've experienced yourself, or trips that you've been on, or clubs that you've tried. You know, there's nothing better than hearing from, a handicapped golfer of whatever handicap you are, of your experience of a destination. At the end of the day, whatever that experience is, you know, whether it's positive or negative, it's constructive feedback, and you know, these resorts or golf courses can view it themselves and see exactly what's being said. So yeah, I'd like to hear down in the comments as well. I'm going to switch the comments back on because I've had them off for a little while, but I'm going to switch the comments back on for certainly this video so you can have a little chit chat about it yourselves. And yeah, hope you're enjoying the content. I'm going to see if I can finish off with another birdie, as this is kind of like my birdie hole, I call it. Wouldn't it be nice to finish a couple under par for 9 holes on my birthday? Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you again on the next video.